lovers. What do we want? More orchids. Where are we gonna put them? We don't know. Okay, that's it. How are you doing, everybody? Today, we are going to repot that phal that was in the moldy bark mulch. And since the last video, this has been soaking. That afternoon, I cleaned up the gazebo, got my bark mulch, been soaking, and it has been soaking in seaweed extract and a little bit of green tea. So it's had since Monday, and here we are Saturday, so it's had a good soak and it's ready to go. And the orchid is still in the pot it was in. So I'm going to keep it in this pot because, as you know, some people said, well, why don't you ask the people that order our orchids, because we get nothing else but our normal phals in the grocery store here. So why don't you ask them to order you something? So I did, and I've been waiting patiently, and nothing's happened yet. But we went shopping there yesterday, and they only had 2 orchids left. And I'm thinking, oh, they've only got 2 orchids left. They must be going to have to order more soon. And she wrote all the information that I wanted a big lip phal or something really different, and from what they get in normally. So I'll be waiting because they'll have to order more. They're down to 2. You know, of all the people that buy orchids here in Seminar, most of them throw them away. They don't even know you could keep them. So I wish we could really get the word out, because you need more things enjoyable in this life, and to soak yourself into and forget all your troubles and worries. And before I get into this, I want to share with you that I opened Facebook because quite a few years ago I was on Facebook, and Jack didn't, it was when they were saying, oh, it wasn't safe and different things, and we were worried, so Jack and we went off, and I haven't been on for years and years. So because so many people want to show me their orchids, or they want to show me an orchid they're having trouble with. And you know, it's funny, from the comments you kind of imagine how somebody is, and from what they say, and you sort of have this picture. And same with the description about an orchid. You can, in your mind there from that description, something comes to your mind of what it looks like. And believe me, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and those pictures, they are so much better. So I've made it so, and I'm not good with, I don't know what poking is, or I don't know very much, but I do know that if someone sends me a picture of their orchids, I'm trying to repost to my timeline so it stays there. So if it comes in a little message, I haven't been, like, you know, if you're typing to somebody on the side and they also have the picture in that message, I haven't been able to figure out how to move that picture to my timeline, like you can share, but it didn't seem to come up that I could do that. But if you just send it to my Facebooks another way, it seems I've been getting them. And we've had so much fun already. So I want to, below this video, in the first of the comments, I will pin my name is Carolyn Long. And I live in Salmon Arm, BC. So when you do a search for a friend, if you look for Carolyn Long in Salmon Arm, that might help. And I'll pin that information below so you get the spelling right. And you have to have a picture. My picture is kind of, there's a circle, and then my kitchen window with the orchids from last year are in that circle. And in behind, and as a background to that circle, is one winter night we took a picture outside on the street of the sky, and it was kind of dark and bright, and I kind of got that in behind that. So that might help to look for me on Facebook. So if you want to, and other people that are on this channel can look at your orchid, so you might not just get my opinion, you'll get somebody else's, and as time goes by, this hopefully will grow, so everybody can comment. If anybody has any better ideas of how I do this, let me know, because I'm new to this, and even though I do YouTube, I'm kind of like, I'm not very good at it. So we've been creeping along, and I am going to share one with you because it was so funny. Because Tracy, hi Tracy, she's been quite often, she's new to orchids, and she's been quite often leaving me this comment, my spike is growing and growing, like how long does it take to flower and what's going to happen? And you know, I'm picturing a spike growing, but nothing like the picture. So anyway, she sends the picture, and it is there in Carolyn's pictures, because I'm trying to repost them so they all go there. And we were joking around because, you know, like hunters, they measure antlers and everything. And we thought, well, maybe we should measure this spike and we can have like an ongoing contest. How long is your spike? So anyway, you're not going to believe it. I saw the picture of this spike and I couldn't believe it. It is 25¼ inches long. She's new to orchids. Here's this huge big spike. Anyway, yeah, so pictures are worth 1,000 words. And if you've got a sad one, I can maybe see better. Other people can see, and we can all help each other. So that's why I went on. It's mostly going to be like a few family people that go. And I got cousins in England that are on there, and a few other jokey things, and we can communicate if I happen to be at the computer when you message me. So we're going to have some fun with that, and I wanted to make sure you all know before I started this video. So yeah, we all love orchids. We're all orchid lovers. And okay, so if you remember, I did early bird. I have to go through and name all my orchids again because some of the butterflies have all flew away this summer. So I have to redo them. But potting her, because it was bark to bark. There was no shot. She had no flowers out, and now she's got 2 more coming. So it did not hurt, and she's actually quite happy in here because I see nice little roots coming. So she seems quite happy. And it's such a cute little pot for $1. And they seem to like these because now I have 3. So let's get this out of the pot. Now let me see. I'm going to put the bark in the sink. I did lots because sometimes I misjudge, and then it's like, and it's sunny outside. It's about pouring rain, and windy and miserable and cold, and it was under 50 degrees last night, and today the sun's out, so it's going to be a work day when I get this done. I've got lots to do. So let's take it out of here. We already kind of knew what it looked like. And let's see, because a lot of this bark was very moldy. And some of it still is, but it has started to dry in this pot. So, and for calcium, I'd been putting in chopped up, banged up pieces of old cement, because we have calcium in our water here, which is pretty good. The pH is pretty average. And anyway, lots of people say, oh, why don't you use CalMag? Well, there's a real good video coming up, the next one, when I finish my studying. And I've ordered some CalMag, but I want to make sure I'm not a very, what am I not? I'm not a very good list maker, measurer, unless it's just simple. I don't want to get into too much science. I want to keep it simple and easy. So anyway, and how much to use and when to use, we'll get into that in the next video. So this is getting quite dangerous, banging up this cement. So for a little extra calcium, and I thought about eggshells, and I've thought about all that stuff, and in the end, and I watched so many other videos, in the end I've decided to order some CalMag, and we will get into that very seriously in the next video. So it had started to dry, and there's still some mold on some of these. They still smell funny, but they have started to dry. But I still, because of the smell, I'm going to put it, I think it'll be better off in the compost. There's a lot of, quite a bit of this, and best to just avoid it. So probably do better in the compost. So now, one thing I like to do while I pick these off, one thing I like to do is when I repot, I like to take a little bit of the bark that was there. I like to put it in the pot because this bark had started to work by far, because it was in a plastic pot with only 2 holes, but it had that plastic sleeve not letting any air in, so the only air was getting in was through the top, and that's why this happened. So that wasn't a great idea. So okay, the roots are really nice. The aerial roots are really nice, and so close up. Now there's all these. Now if I see one with some white on, I'll pick it off, but I'll tell you what, I don't want to shock it. It's been through so much, and it's my big lip phal, and so all these roots have grown since this was purchased for Valentine's. So all these real light ones, and it hasn't had any water since I last did the video on it. So all these are new roots, all these, I don't want to disturb it. Now, I want to show you something else. Sometimes people are so quick to cut off these old brown roots. Don't be so quick. Many times, lots of these nice new green ones are coming off of the ones that look a little older, and they look, oh wow, because they don't turn green, don't worry about it. Now here's one right here. Right here. It started to, there, it started to dry up, but it's still pretty yucky, and I can pull it right off. Now it started to dry because now the bark is staying drier. And the other thing I learned from that experiment, it was good. A little bit of moss there. The other thing I learned from doing that was that so many times when you're changing media, and you're putting it in new bark, which is definitely soaked, so that helps. But because that bark isn't holding as much humidity in, and it might be a month or 2 down the road, so many people say, oh, and I used to, like, don't go back and watch my first video. I've learned a lot since then too. But they often say, when you repot a new orchid, some people say let them dry out, let them, you don't have to water them so much. But you know what this tells me? This tells me it's kind of like, I always say, well, if you're putting you're changing your media, and it doesn't matter, I always have to say this, it doesn't matter what media, if you're making a media change, that the orchid will have to grow new roots to suit those new conditions. Doesn't matter what media you're going from to. Also, I've read water. A big change in water can also do the same thing. So, have never noticed that because I'm always use my tap water, so I haven't had any trouble that way. And our tap water has a lot of stuff, and it does have chlorine, doesn't have fluorine, but this tells me that for sure, because when you water your orchid, it's going through quicker and it's not staying in the bark as long. This tells me that instead of waiting my normal 1 week for the newly potted ones, do it again and do it like I normally do it. Like sometimes in the summer, the second watering is just run through from the top. But I'd probably dip it right in some water and pull it out. Maybe not soak it too long, but I think I would do that, and that's what I will be doing every time I repot now, because it's kind of like adding a little bit of moss for a crutch. I say, well, even if it's real dry where you are and you're concerned about that, you can add a little bit of moss and then later work at taking it out. Because your bark is working better. So I'm thinking that the first month or two, and you can tell by rechecking your pots. Now all these roots, these green ones are new. I haven't watered it since we did the video. So know what your plant looks like and check the pot. It doesn't hurt. There's one I repotted, especially when you start going bark to bark, or if you're just checking it. It doesn't hurt. And then make sure that when you put that bark in there, you're kind of making it sink so it gets all cozy and cuddly in there for those roots. So try and make sure the bark falls all into the proper spaces. So, sometimes Carolyn talks too much. I know, I do, but you know one thing about YouTube, you can either shut me off, and I don't have to listen to you telling me shh, or, or you can just join in. So, I know I talk too much. That's because I never have anybody to talk to anymore. We're housebound. Oh boy. So I put a little bit of nice fresh bark in the bottom, and I pulled off any that looked like they were white, and I'm not going to worry about, I don't want to start pulling them off of these roots because this plant is happy and I don't see any terrible ones there, and I think we'll be fine. So I'm going to put it, I like mine a little bit high, so I'm going to put it in there. Those are aerial roots. Some started. Sometimes if you have an aerial root coming, you can actually, if it's a new one coming, you can sometimes like face it downward into the pot and help it to go into the pot, because that's what it's searching for, humidity. I love aerial roots. I really do. I like how they look. I think they can keep your orchid going. You can miss them. But the one thing about aerial roots is if you're going to miss them, they take, from your first misting to again, they take longer than normal roots to absorb the water because they're hardened, because they're out in the air. So they take even 10 minutes before they actually start to absorb water. So if you take like a paper towel and damp it and leave that on and go back and get it off again, then they're ready to absorb water, 10 minutes later. So I've done that many times with a piece of paper towel, and it works good. And of course, if it's real dry, we didn't get much of a summer this year, but if it's real dry, then you take a cotton tea cloth and you wet it, and you just kind of wrap it around the whole plant. And you leave it there, and you find even on a hot day it'll cool, and you can do that again. And you can keep it going for about half an hour, going back and replenishing and put it back on. And that also is just, it's like us going to I don't know, I've never been to one. I don't know, these spas or whatever. Yeah, it's an orchid spa. So we went garage selling today. I got a weigh scale because Jack has this weigh scale, and he likes all these fandangled kind of scientific things. And it's like we got 2 very small bathrooms, so in his bathroom it's like it's like for weighing parcels. And you have to stand on it, but you stand on it, and I said the gauge goes like 160, then it goes like 140, 130, and it's like, how much do you weigh? Like one day, oh my God, and it looks like so much, and then the next day it's like, holy, I lost a lot. So anyway, there was a weigh scale at this garage sale today, and it was $3. It's really nice shape and everything, because I thought I've never had a weigh scale, but I thought, well, I should have one that works. So I did get one, because I quit eating peanut butter and I've been losing weight. I've been eating peanut butter my whole life. Mom wasn't big on making breakfast, so peanut butter and thick, not just, and my dad, he was a peanut butter lover too. We used to buy it in those years. It came in great big tins, and we used to buy it by the tin. And it's funny, Mom never liked peanut butter, and my brother, he doesn't like peanut butter, but always did, so I'd have it for breakfast. And it always looked good and quick for lunch, so I'd have it for lunch. And basically, I grew up on it, because if I could get away with having it for dinner, I would. Peanut butter and jam, peanut butter and jam, peanut butter and jam. Well, all these years, same thing. I've eaten a lot of peanut butter. So anyway, I decided, it's time for a few reasons to quit eating so darn much peanut butter. So I went right off. I quit eating peanut butter. I'm learning how to give up things, things that you really like to eat that, all of a sudden you have to learn to give up. I'm getting better at it. So I haven't gone back. I haven't eaten any. And now, like, if Jack has peanut butter in the morning, if I even get a taste of it, it doesn't even taste good anymore. So anyway, because of this, I did lose some weight. So I was just wondering, the peanut butter. So, I don't know. It can be done. So even if you're totally addicted, I was totally addicted to peanut butter. It can be done. So don't ask me how I got on that topic. So remember, I've got this all done. And it's just a short video. I'm going to hit it on the counter loud a few times and dip my fingers in and make sure it's gone down real good. It's got nice fresh bark, and watering day is going to be like Tuesday, so I'll probably do it again. So it's going to get extra then. And for a while, till this bark is, I'm going to keep my eye on it. But I think it's a good thing. I learned something. So I think that's one reason why the leaves get so limp so quick if they're also having a transplant shock. And if they've been in that moss for so long, you think those roots are good and they're not. They've quit doing anything, and that's another reason. So that's going to be, excuse me, my crutch instead of moss, because I don't want to use moss, I guess, for me. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you're having fun. I hope you'll join me on Facebook. Bring your pictures with you. And if you catch me when I'm there, I can type and I can do that. So, hoping to see you there. And just wanted to do this video kind of quick because I'm going outside to do some work. So, I'll finish off with this. I made this for fun. I don't know if you can read it. Okay, bye for now. Love you all. Remember, you're in the driver's seat. You know where you're going. You know what you want to achieve.